My great-grandmother, I adored my grandmother. All on the maternal side. No one spoke to my father's side of the family. Really fragmented family. But my grandmother, first of all, she came over to this country from Romania when she was 16 years old with her first child, my Aunt Beth, who was 2. These women had courage. You know, they'd get hysterical if there was a chin hair that showed in public. I mean, they had courage. And I loved her. She looked like a grandmother. What do they look like now? They have fish lips and too much tan and nails that come out like Freddy Krueger. You can't tell what's a grandmother. And she had wonderful white, that puffy white hair, but it was beautiful. And she never wore makeup, and she was so beautiful. And she wore like a shapeless dress, but it didn't look shapeless on her. And I remember she smelled good. She just smelled good. We must have had the same grandmother because they were wonderful. I used to go over to her just to be with her when she was cooking because she liked to cook. And she was a good cook, and she would talk to me about very superstitious. I mean, she came from Romania, for God's sakes. She was a young girl, and she would tell me, to this day, one of them I still do. She said, when you pass a graveyard, you must hold your breath. I guess that's like some sort of dress rehearsal. I don't know. If your palm is itching, someone's talking about you. Good, start the paranoia young. Fine, that's okay. But she was so, she was, not simple. She was innocent, and I loved her. She would turn the radio off if a good show was on, because she wanted to save it for later. So the whole family could share in this. I mean, she was inventing the DVD, but she didn't know it. And we, wonderful, wonderful. And the other person I was very close to was my Aunt Beth, who was another person I miss a lot. Very, very different than my own mother. First of all, the thing I loved about Beth is that she didn't live with us. So she was like, like a stepmother, but she wasn't there. She just came over a lot for dinner because she didn't like to spend money on food. And my mother was a very good cook. My mother was a terrific cook. And I don't know what ingredients she used. I know one that was resentment. But she still was a good cook. My Aunt Beth, the difference between them was that my aunt had 3 unsuccessful marriages, and my mother just had 1. That was one of the differences. They were wonderful role models for me and men, and those hideous little baby boys that still stay with me. My aunt and my father didn't get along. What a surprise in that household. And she liked to annoy him by telling dirty jokes. And he was very proper. He didn't like that. And dirty jokes in the 50s, a dirty joke was any joke that ended with the punchline, penis. We've come a long way, haven't we? Okay, that's a joke that maybe one comic who's still doing that could understand. So, my Aunt Beth and I and my friend and my mother, we all smoked pot together once. I don't know, I just thought it would be a good idea. And Beth was up for anything. My mother, whose name was Kitty, she didn't want, okay, but her older sister advised, let's do it, let's try it. So we did. And my mother took one drag, immediately started choking to death, lit up a Marlboro to bring herself down. But my aunt loved it. She loved it. She was having the time of her life. She was talking and laughing, and just it was wonderful to be with her because I was, early in my teens, and she was talking about sex, which was something very foreign in our house. And she said it was because she always had men. I mean, she was always going to dances with men and always men. I figured she was having a lot of sex. She said she didn't like sex. Now, she really didn't like sex. She liked one sex act, and she liked it a lot, and that was cunnilingus. Okay, first of all, in those days, and even today, you try to find a man who's really interested in doing that. It's like a needle in a haystack. If you find them, hold on to them till the eagle screams. I mean, seriously. Because it's like, they'll push your head down here in 5 seconds, but, no. And then you find that they overcompensate. Look what I can do. Look what I'm doing now. I'm going to tell all the guys that I did it. I'm what is it? A rug muncher? Charming. Thank you so much. Thank you. Get away from there already. You're just annoying. You've been down there too long. You proved your point. Get the hell away. God's sakes. So I told my therapist du jour about my aunt in cunnilingus, and he came to the conclusion that my aunt was most likely a lesbian. Of course. Of course. I mean, why would she want somebody to do oral sex on her unless she was gay? But of course. What the fuck is wrong with a lot of these therapists? I mean, there are some good ones out there, and they're probably in this room, and that's about it. I have met therapists who really, they should be locked up, essentially, not working with people. And I would say that, first of all, if my aunt was a closet lesbian, she would have been in there for 30 years, suffocating from her mink coats, because in those days you could have mink coats, and that would be the only reason she went in there without PETA splashing paint on you. But she wasn't gay, she just was odd. The whole family was odd, whatever. But Freud, see, I blame Freud for a lot of things that have happened to women. I have a hatred of this man without really knowing him, because that would mean that I've been dead for many years if I did. So I've even enjoying this a little bit myself, which is very rare. Freud, first of all, was a cocaine addict, in case you didn't know that. That is verified, and that's good to treat people when your cocaine is swimming in your head. It's very good. And he had a thing about Jung. He had a weird thing going on with Jung, who was practicing at the same time. When he would cross paths with him, and on occasion, Freud would just pass out. That's another good way to handle your problems. Have a problem? That's it. But what I hold against him is he perpetrated this myth against women that all women's problems stem from the fact that we all suffer from penis envy. Oh, please. Please. You know who suffers from penis envy? Men with infantile penises. That's it. Thank you, Sigmund. Unreal, really unreal. We have such a thing about, we're very strange about our genitals. We really are. I said so, I'm shaking the head. Maybe you're not, but most of us are, good for you, go for it, my sister. But people, first of all, they're not pretty. They're just not pretty, but who's going to get you off stroking a kidney? That's not going to happen. They're necessary. They're very necessary, and they just feel good, but they're just not pretty. And the difference, I think, between a penis and a vagina is that women have learned how to decorate. We got hairstyles now. There's one that looks like a little Hitler mustache. I don't really like that one very much. And then there's the Brazilian, which if you don't want to get it, just get old and you'll have one. Comes in waves. Probably depends on the age group that got it first. And the piercings, why would you do that? If I was younger, I would definitely do, I like the nose piercing and even the belly button piercing. But why would you pierce your clitoris? Seriously. Come on. If you're lucky enough to find someone who likes oral sex, is it going to help things if he chips his tooth on your vagina? Is that really going to... And plus you'll probably have to pay for his dental work. So, I just make the point that aging sucks, okay? Let me just bring that... I am grateful I'm alive on some days, but the whole inside, not bad. Aging inside, if you've learned anything in this journey we're all on together, so some people believe it's going to be over by the 21st, you're not going to be that lucky, don't kid yourself. It's going to go on for a while, but on the physical level of aging and doctors, exactly. My brother, my sister, my friend. Exactly. When I was a kid, we had one doctor. One family doctor who made house calls, and he wasn't a pedophile. He was a dwarf. I don't know where they got a dwarf from as a doctor, and he had a long, bushy beard. He was kind of scary, but he did his work, and that was that. Now, every part of my body has its own doctor.